All right, Corey Feenstra, thank you for joining me on this interview. First question, what is your background?
I am American on my mom's side and New Zealand on my dad's side, with just a touch of Maori on my dad's mother's side.
All right, what culture do you identify with most, American, European, or Maori?
I would say American, mostly like 90%.
Okay, when in New Zealand, how do you feel? Do you feel your American culture is stronger when you're around people in New Zealand, or is it more, or do you feel like it's more repressed?
Well, when I'm in New Zealand, I feel at home, because it's like home away from home. But I definitely feel like I stick out like a sore thumb.
Okay. In what ways do you establish your Americanness in New Zealand? Like, in terms of like gatherings, bars, or culture events? Like, do you try and maintain that Americanness?
Yeah, I just be myself, which is, mostly America since I grew up here. But, when I first got there in bars, I would tip in bars, because over here tipping is customary, but over there they don't tip. Like, it's not even an option to tip. The bartender won't even take the money, so someone else is going to walk by and take the money. So eventually I had to get wise and stop doing that.
Oh, that's weird. How is Maoriness integrated throughout the European society from your perspective? Like, what is, considered Maori in the cultural setting of New Zealand?
Well, the art has definitely infiltrated, like, the non-Maori people. Like, you see a lot of non-Maori with Maori tattoos and Maori jewelry and things like that.
How do you, what's your opinion on that? Like, in terms of, like the Europeans trying to incorporate Maoriness in their lives?
I think it's great, because it's just the coming together of two cultures, which I think is a good thing.
Okay. So that's kind of like, you think it's kind of the role of the Maoris in New Zealand, where you think, I guess you could say it's more like they're trying to establish their nation with the Europeans, kind of, in a way?
Well, they've had kind of a rough past, because the thing is they're essentially a warrior race, and not like more than 200 years ago, they were literally savages in the bushes, and then all of a sudden, they have not a whole lot of time to get integrated in the age of technology, in the age of business, and society, and establishment. So it's been a difficult time for them to make that adjustment. So I feel like the easier it's made for them, the better.
Okay, so when you're in the Maori community, how do you feel? In what ways do you feel connected with them?
Well, they're very quick to laugh. They laugh all the time, which is always fun, because I'm kind of like that myself. Skin color, not so much. And also, they can be a bit challenging, as, in a competitive type way. Because some of them are troublemakers, because some of them have had trouble adapting, to life.
Okay. What sort of events or communities do they form from other cultures, from what you've seen in the country?
You mean like...
Like the kind of events, like maybe the haka, or just of cultural events that they do like a separation from European community.
The haka is definitely one. They perform that at a lot of ceremonies, religious ceremonies, spiritual ceremonies. There's many different kinds of hakas at rugby games. More so just the All Blacks. They also have holidays there, like they have a day called Waitangi Day,
Okay.
and it's a national holiday for everyone that everyone gets off, and it's a Maori holiday.
That's interesting. How does your New Zealand family address you regarding your background? Do they make you feel different in any way, considering that you're American?
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
They couldn't make me feel more at home.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Nice. That's nice. When you tell people what your background is and what is their first reaction in America?
In America, they usually think it's pretty cool. I haven't gotten a negative response. It's because
They find it kind of exotic
yeah,
in a
no,
way?
exactly. Exotic
Okay.
is the word.
All right. And then in New Zealand, what have people, other than your family's reactions, what are like people on the street think of you as being an American? What's their reaction?
Most people think it's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Like 95%. There is like everywhere you go, there's always going to be someone who has a stereotype of your other culture. But for the most part, while I was there, every person that I talked to eventually told me that I would change their opinion of Americans in a positive way, because they were, they do have just this broad stereotype that hasn't been confirmed or denied.
Okay. Would you say that, have there been any negative experiences toward your Americanness in your family or in the public eye?
Mostly maybe common banter at work when I was working over there.
Okay.
Some young person would make a stupid remark without really knowing why, just because probably his friends told him something.
Okay.
More specific to like our government and presidency at the time.
Okay. How has your Americanness affected your cultural identity of being Maori and European?
I feel well-rounded.
Okay. So you could say that you kind of feel like that's your identity in a way, like your multicultural background is your identity?
Yeah, it's who I am.
So that makes you who you are.
Yeah, a lot of places to draw on.
Okay. Lastly, how do you feel about your own cultural identity, issues in America and issues in New Zealand?
I feel pretty good about it. I feel like there's a balance.
Mm-hmm.
I always have a place here and I always have a place there, and I just see myself just alternating, throughout my life.
So throughout your life, throughout time, you feel like you'll always have a home?
Yeah, I'll never turn my back on either one of my heritageness.
Yeah. All right. Can you say anything in Maori?
The common greeting would be kia ora, which is like hello, cheers, hey. They refer to like non-Maori or white people as pakiha.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think it's in a derogatory term.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge goes.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And hope you have a wonderful day. Thumbs up. Yay.